It is Eagles Talk once again on A2D Radio, and we are brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs, and seeded rolls. Make sure you mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. Like I said, we are live. It's your boy Chucks, it's Brinks, and PY should be on soon. He's just coming home late from work, but he will be on with us. And also be on with us again is Les Bowen. So they will be joining us in a few minutes. But we wanted to get the ball rolling. Didn't want to keep you guys waiting too long. Brinks, how you doing? How's your week been?
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It's hot.
But just getting ready. I mean, practice stuff is cool. Like, I would like to see a game and then do a show. But, we got some stuff to talk about. And I really like the overall mentality of the team. They seem to have all bought into this complete turning of the page from last year's championship and are focused on starting a new journey. So from that standpoint, I am happy. There's no lingering effects from last year's success.
Oh, 100%.
Like.
And I know that Prism 280 already commented. He says, I don't know about no repeat, maybe no 4-peat, but as young as a QB coach and GM I wouldn't count out a 3-peat. I don't know if he's like misconstruing the title of our show, but the no repeat part, that's coming straight from the team, the players. They've put out this mindset that, hey, they're not repeating anything because it's a brand new team, so they're not defending anything.
And look, we're fans, Chucks. Like, we're fans. We can talk about 3-peats and 4-peats and 5-peats all we want until we're blue in the face. Doesn't matter what we say. Matters what goes on down at the NovaCare complex and in the regular season, the Link, or wherever they're playing on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's here with us now, so let's bring him on. Les Bowen, how are you, sir?
I am great, Chucks. How are you guys?
Doing well. Football is here, so we're right in the heat of training camp now with a week down. So some stuff to talk about, and it's always tough. It's like a double-edged sword for me because training camp comes. It's exciting to get excited. It's exciting to get to see football back, but at the same time, I'm always like someone that's like, let's pump the brakes because there are so many overreactions happen with training camp. I can't even it's so funny seeing like the different takes that you get from both media and fans over some of these practice reps. So it's like,
well, as a reporter, you're out there every day and there isn't anything. They're playing no games, and so you have to come up with stories, and the stories are always, somebody's lost weight, somebody's some guy's finally gotten it together and he's going to be great this year. They're always the same. I got really sick of that, frankly. I wrote those stories because you have to, but it's all. Then spring training for baseball is exactly the same. Everybody's found a new pitch. Everybody's fixed whatever was wrong last year, and it's all going to be just so great this time around. But you're talking the no repeat thing. I was there for the first day of camp last week for a story I'm doing for and they were really hitting the whole we're not defending champs, blah 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 blah. They're hitting all that really hard, and it's fine. It's better than them saying, gosh, we don't have anything to prove to anybody. We're just going to sit here and wait till somebody beats us. But I really don't think, as a practical matter, I don't think taking repeating for granted is a problem for any team. I just don't see it as a big issue. That wasn't the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Thinking it was going to be easy the next year wasn't why they didn't win it the next year. It's a nice rhetorical device, I guess, but it doesn't really make them more likely to do well than if they just, didn't say anything. I don't know. it's something to talk about, but
the
reality is they will be viewed as the defending champions by everyone else.
Yeah, I always found it, and I'm like, I never really said it out loud because it's really not a huge deal. But like, I always like, I'm the type of like person that likes to deep think about stuff. Like, I go into the weeds of things, right, and be like, so I always wondered like, why do we consider, the Super Bowl champs from the year before, like, are they really like? Yeah, they're the defending champs, but are they really the defending champs? Because it's not like let me put like the comparison this way. When you're like a boxer, right? You win the championship, you hold the belt. So you're every time from then on you play, you're in a match, you're defending the title because you are, you face the challenger, and whenever you lose next, you lose the title, right? But if you win, you are still the champ. It's like for football, or even for like any like the four major sports, like, are they really like defending champs? Because yeah, they have the title for 2024 or one season, but then it's up for grabs the following season. Are they really defending? It's a new team. So
Sirianni actually used that exact analogy today.
Oh, did he really? I didn't hear that then. Yeah.
And my take was, okay, so you're a boxer and you're facing some other guy and you're the defending champ, and he knocks you out, and you're not the defending champ. I mean, it's not like, I don't think it's that different. But I mean, you could theoretically, in boxing, you might win, 20 bouts in a row as defending champ or something. You're not going to defend a title in football 20 years in a row or anything like that. But I don't think it's any different in any other sport. You put it on the line when you go out and try again. They don't start the next boxing match with you having a 2-round advantage on everyone's card or anything like that. I don't know, but it's interesting. It's good that they're fired up and they have this motivation. I don't think it really. What happens to teams isn't that they take it for granted. It's that usually a lot of people get hurt. What happens. It was a dozen last time. I went and looked. It was a dozen contributors with season-ending injuries in 2018, including Carson Wentz again. And that was why they didn't defend their championship. It wasn't that they were resting on their laurels.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like probably like one of the fairest points, because I was listening to Mina, who's now going to be a regular, Mina Kimes is going to be a regular guest on PHLY, which I'm super excited about. She's like my favorite. So she's awesome to have on. And when they were talking about the Eagles' upcoming season, she had mentioned that like the biggest hurdle is probably going to be depth because of the risk of injury. When you play this much football, you make it all the way to the Super Bowl, and you're playing that far into the season, and then you're coming right back. Like, to the casual fan, it may not seem like a big difference. It's like, oh,
they played 21 games. The Eagles played 21 meaningful games, not including the preseason, which the starters didn't play. But holy crap. I mean, that's it wasn't that many years ago. I mean, the Miami Dolphins, the undefeated Miami Dolphins, played 17 games. That's quite a difference. And you start back a lot sooner. I remember when I wrote about this for PHLY last week, I went back and looked at some of the stuff from 2018. And right before the season started, I had a quote from Corey Clement saying, "Man, training camp just flew by." It's the season just gets there before you're ready. When you've played into mid-February, there's a part of you, regardless of what you say, that in September isn't going to be like, oh God, it's been so long since I played football.
I agree with that. I agree. So it's going to be definitely, when it comes to this team, depth is probably my biggest concern. If I were going to say a concern, I know you weren't here last week, Les, but we kind of touched on the biggest question marks heading into training camp, and we touched on depth at certain positions, and we talked about like what we think is the positions that are could use a little bit more depth than we kind of ideally see. So we'll it's something to keep an eye on. And I think I saw someone put a stat out that like about half the teams will lose at least one starter during training camps, and that's probably the average every season. So like that's scary. I don't know how true it is. I think it was one of the doctor accounts that I follow and one of the football doctors, but like it's pretty significant. So you gotta like hope and pray that this team can stay healthy through training camp, obviously. So, but let's get to our poll question. Let's talk about. So we got some takeaways from early training camp based these on the main storylines that are being put out right now so far with a week down. So I want to start with something that our star wide receiver kind of touched on, and I was kind of like, let's pump the brakes, but let's see what you guys think. So our poll question to lead off the show, you're buying AJ Brown's comments about Terrace Marshall's strong start to camp. Agree or disagree? Les, since you were at camp for a day, let's get your thoughts first. Like, how legitimate do you think AJ Brown's comments are, or is it just him kind of just blowing a little bit of steam of a new teammate?
I'm not buying Terrace Marshall overall, but I'm buying what AJ said because Terrace Marshall was a second-round pick who's big and fast and was projected to be a first-round pick not very long ago. And B, if you talk to people at Carolina, Terrace Marshall has a history of doing this. He always looks good in training camp. It's just when he has to play games that he doesn't look good. So, I take AJ. I think AJ is telling the truth. And I think, obviously, you'd like to see the Eagles culture and someone like AJ kind of rub off on Terrace Marshall and get him engaged. He's still 6'2". He's still 210 or something like that. I think he probably still runs a 4.40, But this is a guy, I mean, I followed him at LSU. He played with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and he was seen in the same light as those guys, But when draft time came, if you read the draft evaluations, they were like, oh, what a great talent. Gee, he takes plays off, and he doesn't really seem to work very hard. And, and so he ended up in the second round, which was still, pretty high. But 3 years in Carolina, didn't do a darn thing. Ended up in the somebody's practice squad last year.
The Raiders practice squad, yeah.
I mean, it's not like the NFL is oppressing really talented wide receivers and just not letting them perform to their capabilities. This guy he's got some explaining to do. And I don't know of a lot of cases where guys like that suddenly, after 3 or 4 years, that the light comes on and they're great players like they were supposed to be. But what the heck? I mean, he's got all the tangibles still. So maybe AJ gets this guy, takes him under his wing and teaches him how to be a pro player, and he's useful. But I don't buy. Like I said, the guy has a track record, and it's not a track record of excellence.
Good points. Those are fair points. Because you're buying AJ's comments.
I think he's sincere.
But you're not necessarily buying the actual player. It's just the circumstance of
And I don't buy much that happens in training camp until they put pads on and start playing other teams or practicing against other teams.
Yeah.
Especially when people start talking about somebody struggling at a line position. You're not wearing pads. You're lining up backwards. What are you doing?
That's so true. So we've got PY joining us. Nice to see you. Yeah, you made it.
I did.
We just started talking about the poll question. So I'm gonna go with Brinks first, and then we'll go to you, PY. But Brinks, what do you think about AJ Brown's comments of Terrace Marshall? What are you buying or selling them?
I mean, like, what's AJ supposed to say? Like, he stinks? Like, what am I actually buying here? let's forget about AJ's comments. I agree with Les. I don't think AJ Brown's lying or like being insincere and saying a stinky player is doing good when he's not. But like, what am I buying with Terrace Marshall? Am I buying that he's making some plays out there against the scout team? Maybe some second string guys? Sure. Am I buying the fact that he might make this team because past Jahan Dotson, there's huge question marks about who's going to make the team, and the Eagles are definitely going to keep more than 3 wide receivers? Sure, but I agree with Les. Like, if we're looking at, if God forbid something happens to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith and Terrace Marshall is suiting up and your X or Y as your X or Y wide receiver on the outside, like that's going to be a huge problem because he's done nothing. But, I mean, best case scenario, he's this team's 4th receiver. Maybe he makes a play or 2. I'm not buying him jumping Jahan Dotson on the depth chart. So, like, best case scenario with Terrace Marshall, even with these comments, is he makes the team as the 4th receiver, which is going to be hard for him because he doesn't play special teams at all.
Yeah.
So,
good point.
So that's it.
Yeah, you don't, and that's an excellent point, Rob. And you don't have a reserve wide receiver who doesn't play special teams. I'm sorry, that's ludicrous. And why doesn't he play special teams? What the hell? He's 6'2", 210, and runs a 4.4 40.
Yeah.
Is there a law against him being good on special teams? I don't think so. That's exactly what we were talking about. The guy's kind of a dog in the old sense of the word before a dog became a good thing.
PY, how about you?
So I'm. It's not that I don't buy into it, but like it's just AJ being a good teammate. Like, oh, I've seen some things from the new guy. I like what I see. Just showing that he's a leader, and like that's what you want a leader to say. Like you're seeing value in the new players. Like it could be true. Like Terrace Marshall could be looking really good in training camp. He did make a play or 2 against Kelee Ringo. You could take that for whatever it's worth. I'm not big on Terrace Marshall just because, like, he has, like Les says, he hasn't really shown anything in the NFL. And the one thing Howie has put stock into this season is former second-round picks or high picks and seeing if they can redeem themselves. So he sees the value in these guys. But that doesn't mean there is value there. Like him, Azeez Ojulari, guys like that, like they're trying to maximize the value with a limited amount of cap space for these guys. And like him not playing special teams is not something I really love. Another option is Cordell Patterson got cut today. I would have more faith in Cordell Patterson as my wide receiver 4 because there's so many different ways I could use him. And he plays special teams as opposed to Terrace Marshall. Like, if he is able to figure it out and be the guy he was at LSU and make certain people gush and swoon, it'd be great. But I just I'm not buying into it. And I like the fact that AJ is trying to like make fans like root for the guy, have faith in him. But I'm like, You're making plays in July. I don't give a shit about that. I care about when you're making, like, if this is pads and AJ is talking about it in August, I think I might put a little bit more stock, but it's July. Like, nobody is really playing much defense. You're not really doing much. Like, it's not 7-on-7s or anything like that. Like, I don't really hold much stock onto this, nor do I hold much stock on Terrace Marshall. So. Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Real quick,
sell.
Real quick, it's Terrace, not Terrence. I have to correct you. It's Terrace. It's Terrace.
Call him Dorial Green Marshall. How about
that? I'm not gonna say much because I pretty much agree with all of you guys. I'm not buying him the player. Yeah, so I mean, I do think AJ Brown's being genuine. And I think the comments themselves could be just in terms of training camp. But yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to yeah.
And it'd be great if it worked out.
You want to borrow my glasses so you can see it?
Hell of a story if it works out.
It would be. And I mean, like it's not like we haven't had a reclamation project, in here before. So, yeah. There's some comments regarding. I was gonna go next with Jihaad Campbell, but we've got some good comments because we have here the Bull RJ says that CB2 position got me nervous. I can't even lie. All he says we need to go get some CB2 competition. So they're referring to one Kelee Ringo. So let's talk about Kelee Ringo then. All right, let's jump to that topic. So I know there's a lot of reporters saying that, so far in camp, speaking of AJ Brown, he's been lining up against Kelee Ringo a lot and pretty much baptizing him and giving the young corner, some
If
fit.
he has to play against AJ Brown this year, he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let me put it this way. Let's go around. We'll start with Les and then go PY, Brinks, and then me. Because again, we have more guys talking about the CB2 stuff, and there are fans that are panicking now a little bit when it comes to Ringo. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your panic meter? At 1 being like it's nothing, 10 being like you need to get rid of him. What is your panic meter right now with Kelee Ringo? So a week into the training camp, Les.
Well, again, I'm not panicking on anything that happens until they put on pads. Unless somebody gets hurt, then you panic about that. But I don't think Kelee Ringo is a great player. He's an okay player. If Adoree Jackson ends up winning that spot, okay with me. They won't be quite as good as they were last year with Slay, but I think Jackson's a solid starter. It wouldn't kill me. I wouldn't go out and spend my first round draft pick to try to get somebody's corner in here or something.
Mm-hmm.
You could always move Cooper DeJean out there if you have to.
Yep.
And no panic on my part. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I hear you. PY, how about you?
It's it's a nothing. It's a 0. It's a big fat stinking 0. Like, I understand people are freaking out. It's training camp. Eagles fans don't know how to react rationally to things or this early. But I'm sorry, he's going up against AJ Brown.
Right.
Oh man, I can't really trust him. He's going against a top 3 wide receiver. He's having a little bit of difficulty. There's all pro corners who are having fits over AJ Brown last year. What is this? I understand it. The one play against Terrace Marshall, okay, he misdiagnosed it. I get it. If you want to be upset over that, that's fine. That's a legit critique. But you can't get mad that AJ Brown is baptizing him in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay, he does it every Sunday. He's pretty religious on Sundays. If we haven't witnessed this in person, does a lot of pointing, things like that. That's who AJ Brown does. That's what he is. He's a game wrecker and he's a game changer. I'm not gonna kill Kelee Ringo because AJ Brown does AJ Brown things. If Jalen Hurts was here and mossing him up, that's a different freaking story.
Yeah, it would be.
As of right now, we have one play and one play only of Terrace Marshall beating him on one route. It's his first real chance at being the number 2 corner. How about we give him some time? How about we give him a summer to see where he's at and just not overreact? It's very simple. If they feel like he's not up to stuff, they're going to go get a guy. Asante Samuel Jr. is out there. Chuck's boy Rasul Douglas is out there. There are trade possibilities. Greg Newsome could be here in August. Just throwing that out there. And I'm a big Kelee Ringo fan. I really believe in him and his talent and his ceiling. But if the Eagles don't, there's tons of things they can do to improve that spot. We literally thought Darius Slay wasn't going to be here last year. So this early on in the season, we have no idea what things are going to look like come September. If the Eagles feel that Kelee Ringo is not there, not who they want at CB2, he won't be there at CB2 because they don't care about draft stock. Vic Fangio will send your ass packing without a second thought. He doesn't care about draft stock. He cares about best players playing. And that's what Howie Roseman cares about right now. Best players playing. If you can play, you're here. If you can't, you're gone. So it's a zero. Like, what are we doing here? It's freaking July.
Yeah. Brinks, how about you?
No, I'm not. I mean, I don't know if anyone's coming. So, I mean, he's going to have to figure it out. I'm not as optimistic that a corner is walking through that door. I think there's some other positions that someone could walk through the door and help this team, but I'm not so sure a corner is going to come in here and contribute. I mean, corner has become – the back end has become extremely, extremely coveted. So, I mean –
yeah.
The fact that Asante Samuel Jr. and Rasul Douglas aren't signed, that tells me that, you know, maybe they're not a fit in how things are going in the NFL. If you want to trade for Craig Newsome, like, I mean, okay, I'm not going to say no to that, but put him up against A.J. Brown every day, every snap. That's how you get better.
Yep.
You're not going to get better on the scout team playing against Terrace Marshall, for example. Like, he were struggling against it on the scout team against Terrace Marshall. That's a different story. But I mean, Kelee Ringo, he's gonna be starting week 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be starting week 1. Whether that is good, bad, or indifferent, we're gonna see. But
we'll find out.
How he drafted.
Nobody else likes Adoree Jackson here other than me, I guess. I'm the only
I don't think they brought him in to start, in my opinion. I just think he's here to fill that backup role like they had last year.
Yeah,
well,
I like the idea of a veteran. As good as Mitchell is.
Outplay Kelee Ringo, then he should play.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that's what he's here for. Like I don't think they brought him in here to start, to fight for a position. He's here to be that third corner that you need off the bench.
Okay.
It's possible. I think I lean that way, PY, but I also think that you can't. I think that coaches are also smart enough to realize that like they can't box them into those roles either. Because Kelee Ringo, we just don't know. So if he continues to struggle, it depends how bad he's struggling and how the coaches see him. But if it's really that bad, like you have to kind of start Adoree if he's playing better. You know what I mean? He's a vet, and maybe it's a thing where you start Adoree's week 1, and then at some point Kelee can come in midseason. So I don't know. I think that
Maddox starting out as the slot corner last year before DeJean was really ready.
DeJean came back.
That was brutal.
So I mean, it is possible. It is a long season. I do want to answer my question by replying to some of these comments because harsh. Like Jay Koch is saying, Ringo doesn't have the agility. Being fast means nothing if you can't consistently blanket wide receivers.
How do you know?
When it comes to, I would say this: the Ringo. One of the reasons why I wasn't high on Ringo as a prospect was because of his lateral agility and quickness. I think he has great speed, in that sense. So I get what I get what Jay is saying, but I think he's going a little too far because depending on the type of system you play and the type of corner, not all outside corners need to be that quick, the super quick type of corner. Like there is a baseline that you have to have. Yeah. Do I think Kelee Ringo clears that baseline? I think he does. I think it's fine. I don't think it's anything that's detrimental. If it was something where it was far below baseline where he really had stiff hips and didn't have quick enough feet, I don't think he gets near. I think he falls to like the 7th round or like gets undrafted. Like you have to have a baseline to be able to play corner, and so I think he has that kind of baseline quickness needed. So I disagree with that take. And Jay is saying like I bet all of you's Ringo isn't starting week 1. Like again, we just don't know, and so like I don't like it's week 1. You guys all have great points, so I think that's let's sit and find out. I do think, like I said last week, corner is probably the one position where depth to me is probably like what I want a guy like even if Kelee Ringo is solid, and if Adoree is in that CB3 role, right? To me, that depth still is like I kind of want one more body, but that's me. I would prefer one more body. But
I would rather have another good edge rusher myself, but that's just me.
That's fair. Yeah, that's pretty fair. So that's something about Kelee. Let's go to another spot in the. Let's lump this all together because we're seeing. Let's talk about the safety position opposite Reed Blankenship, because we're seeing one Cooper DeJean play at safety in base packages, right? And then when they move to sub packages, he goes back into the slot, and we've seen kind of like a. I know Makuba missed time today, so we've seen Sidney Brown and him get a mix of from what I know, it's a mix between them getting first team reps. So I want to let me lead this off because, as you guys know, I have a lot to say about like that safety position. And Ryan says here, he says Sidney Brown can only hit. That's all he does. Him and the rookie won't work. Need a very good caliber starter with 2 to 4 good starting years under his belt. I completely disagree with this. I remain.
You've seen him do something other than hit because I haven't.
I remain a Sidney Brown fan, and I remain an Andrew Makuba fan too. Like Makuba was a really good pick. I ultimately think Makuba has a higher ceiling. So if Makuba can get a grasp of things, I do think he's the better overall player. If he struggles to grasp the playbook and adjust, I still have faith that Sidney Brown can be capable as a starting safety.
Okay.
I think that people what kind of has annoyed me is people look at last year and say, oh, Sidney Brown came back, but he didn't get any starting reps because Fangio didn't trust him. I don't think that's accurate at all. I think Sidney Brown said this right off the bat too. I think like a few days ago, he was still not 100% last year coming back. Right? He wasn't fully healthy. You also got to remember he came in as a rookie, so he was still adjusting as a rookie, learning the playbook. He gets hurt late in the year. So all of this, like the whole offseason, he's rehabbing. He misses all mini camp and training camp. So he's not with the team in that capacity.
Wasn't working in Fangio's defense.
Exactly.
For a long time. That's true.
At what point does he have to really grasp everything and get a hold of Fangio's defense? There is none. So this was the first offseason where he could really do that and be, as he said, 100%. I think that Sidney Brown, is he the best in coverage? No, he's not. Like based on his college shape and everything, he's not the best in coverage. But I think people are getting a little too ahead of themselves and going a little overboard. There is nothing you can say that there's nothing Sidney has shown so far that he can be capable. I could counter that and say there's nothing he's shown so far to say that he can't. Like we just don't know. But I think that based on how I studied him as a prospect, the capability to be a solid starter is there. I think people are writing him off way too early, and I think that even if he's just a placeholder right now for when Makuba's ready, I think that's fine. I think that he can absolutely be okay with that. So I am not yet worried about that other starting safety position. Bless, how about you were at one of the practices. What do you think? What's your stance on that safety position as a whole?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make or break the team. I think, like you said, there's enough there that they can finagle around. I like the DeJean in the base. Just the standpoint gets him on the field all the time.
I do too.
I think that's a brilliant idea. He can certainly handle that. He'll do very well in that, and then move to slot corner in the nickel. I don't really think they need to go out and get a safety unless it's real cheap. I think there's enough people hanging around that they can come up with somebody to play opposite Blankenship who will fill the bill.
Yeah. PY.
I just think, once again, we're overreacting to things. Like, I understand that people are missing CJ, GJ. You want to go out and you get a veteran and things like that. Like, if they were so concerned about the safety position or where we are right now, Justin Simmons would be on this roster right now. They feel confident in Sidney. and Sydney. I was trying to stop myself as I was about to say it. Sydney Brown. I'm sorry. They feel confident in him. They feel confident in Makuba. They feel confident in the fact that they're letting them duke it out to see who's going to be safety 2. Like, if they don't, they'll go get somebody. Justin Simmons will be here. But if they felt that concerned about it, A, they probably don't trade CJGJ, and B, Justin Simmons is probably signed here already. Like, I think they feel good about the young safety room. I think they want to let the young guns duke it out. They want to see who is going to earn that spot. And I don't really buy into the whole Fangio doesn't like Sydney Brown. I think it has everything. I think it has everything to do with the fact that he was coming off an ACL tear and he wasn't ready fully till week 10 or 12.
Didn't need him to do much last year.
Here's what they needed Sydney Brown to do last year: put people on their ass. That's it. That's all I needed him to do last year. Can you knock someone's block off last year on special teams, which he did immensely in playoff games? Like, he was all over the field when you needed him to be that. And last year, as much as we probably would have liked to see him to take that next step, you didn't need it because he was coming off of injury. And Makuba looks like he's kind of a combo where he can lay you out, but he also has good coverage skills. So, like, that's probably who they would like to win the safety spot. But if it ends up being Sydney Brown, why am I saying Sydney Jones for the third time? Can you tell how tired I am, folks? Sydney Brown. If he wins the job, it's because he's just flat out better.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, while we're still talking about the safety, someone in the comments mentioned Makuba's injury. Apparently, he had a collision with Gray in Sunday's practice.
Saturday
practice.
Okay,
we're off Sunday. Yeah. Saturday's practice. There's no indication that it leaks out through an agent or something if a guy has really hurt himself in training camp. Of course, Sirianni was asked about it today. And of course, being Sirianni, his answer was, I don't have to tell you anything about injuries yet, basically. But I don't think, we're still in July here. I think Makuba's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I do not think it's maybe a concussion, maybe a bruise. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, I'm not worried about it either. Brinks, what your thoughts on the safety position?
Why don't we just chill out and let it work itself out? Justin Simmons is not coming. He's not coming here. He's not. He's just not
I have
coming
my guest
here.
room already. How can you say that?
He this guy had his best years under Fangio in Denver.
Yeah.
So if Fangio wanted him or they thought he could help, he'd be here already.
Well,
so
I don't know. Sometimes who was the safety they signed at the end of training camp that one year? He had the famous terrible play in Tennessee, and there was a meme of the look on his face. But my point is, they brought him in at the very end of training camp just because they didn't feel like he needed to be there. I mean,
was it Byard? It wasn't Byard, was it?
No.
Was it Skandrick?
Corey Graham?
No.
Or somebody? No. Who the hell was it?
Was it last year?
No, it was years ago. It was the year that they lost in Tennessee. They blew a lead. It was horrible.
That was 2018.
Yeah.
Are you talking about?
Oh, was it the one? Was it the one safety that I despise? Oh my God!
Graham.
Corey Graham.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, Corey Graham. Yes.
Corey Graham, you're right.
I mean, if it's a veteran, you can bring and he's played in your system, you can bring him in, and he doesn't have to go through all the crap that he doesn't want to go through. But there's no reason to think that's the case. You're right.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Do you know how overreactory the Eagles fans must be if Brinks is being the voice of reason right now?
Yeah.
I can't stand when someone with any type of name recognition gets released or cut or whatever, and everyone jumps on their social media feed and say, "Oh, the Eagles should get this guy." The Eagles should get this guy.
Christian Wilkins, who got cut by the Raiders, and everyone is saying, "Oh, Christian Wilkins, an Eagle."
Well, I read he's not healthy, and the Raiders wouldn't let him get a second opinion.
It's
so
a whole drama thing with that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you don't know what the situation is.
I don't know what that. Based on talent, like he should not be cut at all. That guy's a beast. But like Justin Simmons is not coming. Fangio knows what he is. Like there's a bunch of bad film on him in Atlanta last year. So like forget about Justin
his
Simmons.
film, or is that just Atlanta's defense being?
It was a lot of it was Atlanta's defense too. It was
their defense was
a lot of
it.
Justin Simmons was was being interviewed, and he was saying like he came in, he didn't know his teammates really well. He had no chemistry. They're trying to build chemistry throughout the season.
How are you going to get chemistry if you bring him in Labor Day?
No, I hear you on that. That's completely fair. If I were to bet, I'd say Simmons is not coming. I just won't say with 100% certainty that he's not. Like I think there is a small, tiny chance, like if things get that bad. But again, like I don't think it's going to get that bad. So I don't see him coming in.
I'm a Makuba guy. I think it's going to be Makuba and Reed Blankenship. Like
I think ideally
I'm not.
We want.
I mean, Sidney Brown, he made some electric plays before his ACL, so I guess we'll see. But like, I feel like a lot of Eagles fans are just like assuming that Sidney Brown is just going to step in and be a stud now that CJ.
The majority of Eagles fans are not assuming.
Yeah, majority.
I don't know what circle you're following right now. It must be a very small one.
I've been getting a lot of Sidney Brown love thrown my way for months.
Who?
We don't have to dive into from who. But
my friends, my family, people I interact with on a daily basis. Point is, like a lot of people really like Sidney Brown.
I think the point is we don't know yet with either, but I don't think that it's at a level of being panicked about either one of them just yet. The other one I want to get into. So there's two more I want to get into. One, Les, we'll have you for one more. Jihaad Campbell. Yes. I'm excited to talk about. A lot of this is on the defensive side of the ball because that's where a lot of moving pieces have been. I think the offensive side of the ball is like we know what you are, so we're right. But on the defense side of the ball, Jihaad Campbell, to a lot of people's surprise, is healthy. He's practicing.
Fangio was even surprised by that one.
Yeah. Again, they haven't put on pads. They're putting on pads tomorrow, I believe. Mm-hmm. We'll see. If Jihaad's a full participant in pads, then woohoo. This is really, really significant.
Yeah.
If that's not the case, then maybe it's not quite as significant. But it's great that he's I think one of the things that really held DeJean back initially last season was that he hadn't really practiced in the defense enough,
Yeah.
Campbell is getting that time out there on the field, and apparently he looks very, very good.
DeJean he had 2 weeks of practice, and then he was out like the whole offseason.
Yeah, for the hamstring,
So just getting Campbell that time, even if he's not cleared to hit or something, that's enormous because we really didn't know. Draft. If you go back to the draft, we didn't know whether he'd start the season on PUP. What the situation would be. It certainly looks like that's not the case. And that could be huge for this team. It really could, because we were just talking about some situations where there's a good chance they're not going to be quite as good at corner as they were last year, where they were tremendous. There's a good chance they're not going to be quite as good at safety as they were last year because they were tremendous. But adding that linebacker, especially since you are going to get into Kobe Dean at some point, adding a linebacker who's big and fast and can cover and also stop the run, it's almost like adding another Zach Bond. That could be a gigantic thing for this defense. It really could.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's I'm glad that he's, again, with no pads, but he's been getting first-team reps as well. And it's just
I don't think Jeremiah Jr. is really a starter. It would be a wonderful story if he were, but I think he's more of a Mike Reese kind of linebacker.
Yeah, core special teams guy.
Yeah.
come in if needed and stuff like that, which is fine. I mean,
absolutely.
In the 5th round, I mean, if that's his role, I'm all for it. But I don't know what to frame. I don't know what question to ask you guys in terms of Jihaad, but it's more so like I think it's for me, it's the excitement of seeing him already out there, seeing that he is getting first team reps already, seeing that he is, again, I'm going to reiterate, linebacker. He's playing at linebacker. I think it's a, like you said, Les, it's a really good stepping stone.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, by the way. I did not. The people that were trying to claim edge rush after the draft were people who had insisted that the Eagles would never draft a linebacker in the first round.
We'll see.
There's one person here.
Vic Fangio is here
Talk
now.
to me in year 3. Talk to me in year 3. He's like Michael Parsons 2.0.
Linebacker is an important position.
Yeah.
I think I told you guys when I was down in New Orleans, there were beat writers who were like, well, I don't know if they'll sign Vaughn. You know, it's a lot of money to give to a linebacker. And I was like, what the what are you talking about? You know, I mean,
if he wants him, he's going to have him.
This isn't the Andy Reid Eagles. You know, this is Vic Fangio's defense. They're going to have really good linebackers because Vic Fangio has really good linebackers, like all pro linebackers.
Crazy how that works.
And you can line up Jihaad Campbell on the edge here and there if you want to. And hey, if edge rush is a disaster, then
put him there somewhere.
You need to do something there with Jihaad Campbell. But
exactly.
I think he's a linebacker. I think that's his job.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. Les, any more thoughts from your time at training camp so far that we didn't touch on? Anything you want to mention that you think that should be mentioned?
Just that, you know, the piece I wrote was contrasting this with the summer of 2018. And it's so different. You know, the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they were, you know, Wentz came out. I don't know if you guys remember. I didn't until I reread the stuff. So Wentz came out the first day, and much like Jihaad Campbell, people were shocked to see him out there. It was 11 on 11. He was firing the ball all over the place, pinpoint accuracy. And everybody was like, oh, my God, Carson Wentz is okay. Well, then he didn't practice for like 2 weeks. And, you know, and we've been all preseason wondering who, you know, when he was going to be healthy. I think Brandon Graham had undergone ankle surgery. He wasn't ready when camp started. Alshon Jeffrey had undergone shoulder surgery. He wasn't ready when camp started. You know, just from the very beginning, it was a lot of like waiting around for guys to be healthy. And the big theme that year was all these guys, these veterans who had missed the Super Bowl, were going to carry the Eagles, you know, back to the Super Bowl, like Darren Sproles and Jason Peters and Jordan Hicks, and none of that happened.
Les, you're going to make me depressed.
What's that?
So you're going to make me depressed trying to relive that shit.
This is different. I'm saying this is very, very different from all that. None of this is true of this team. They don't have a bunch of guys already injured, and they know who the quarterback is. And, you know, it's a different situation entirely. I don't mean to make you depressed at all. I'm saying this is a way better situation, a way more dominant team than that team was. This team didn't give up 505 passing yards in this Super Bowl. You know, I mean, I really think right now they're set up about as well as you want them to see them set up, really.
That's good. Awesome stuff, Les. Thank you for coming on again and sharing your thoughts. Are you going to training camp at all at any point?
You know, I had that credentialing problem with the Eagles. I was doing a freelance piece, and they gave me a day.
Gotcha.
You know, they have a lot of people in their defense. They have a lot of people who want to be there, who have outlets of some sort or another. And although I would think, having covered the team daily for 20 years,
you would get sort of
get some consideration. That really isn't how it works. So who knows?
Who do I have to speak to complain about that?
On the other hand, it's my younger son's birthday next week, and we're going down to Kiowa Island. And you know, instead of being at training camp, so
There you go. There you go. Well, happy early birthday to him. Enjoy. Are you? We'll see you next week, or are you off next week?
I don't think I will be with you next week.
Okay, no problem. Well, then you enjoy that week, and then we'll see you in a couple of weeks and talk more training camp.
I look forward to it, fellas. Thank you.
All right, Les.
Bye,
We'll
Les.
see you. Good night. Les with Bone on the Birds. Always a pleasure to have him. Gentlemen, let's get to the final thing I want to talk about with 10 minutes left. I don't know if you were here to talk about it a little bit, PY, last week. No, you were here last week. Okay. So Kevin Patullo's comments about Jalen Hurts. He had said that Hurts is becoming a complete player in the passing game. I think this is, I don't want to get into a conversation because it's tired news. The whole thing about where Jalen Hurts ranks, him and the Cam Newton stuff, that's in the past. I want to move on from it, but I want to take it this way. I want to ask you this way, and Brinks will lead off with you. If there's pick one aspect of Jalen Hurts' game that you would like to see improve the most heading into 2025, because we all know that Hurts is that type of guy who does continue to get better every single year. So what's one area you want to see Hurts improve on?
Probably, I mean, he's pretty complete. I mean, he was smooth sailing after the Steelers game last year. They turned him loose in the Steelers game, and he really looked back. I would just say pocket presence. Like, don't bail out left or right. Step up in the pocket and find someone. But, I mean, we're just splitting hairs with this guy at this point. I mean, what more do you want him to do? He wins all of his games, even though he's not pretty all the time. He doesn't stand in the pocket like Peyton Manning or Joe Burrow or something like that. That's not the type of guy he is. But, like, I mean, as far as him developing more, I don't really see. I think we got what we got with Jalen, and it's pretty good. So, like, not much, really.
Brinks just continue. He hit the nail on the head. Like he just continues to develop, and who he is now is what we know. He's a top 5 quarterback based on all of his skill set put together. Like, if I had to nitpick and like pick something random, like maybe get a little bit better at diagnosing screens, maybe get a little bit better of like throwing some quick passes out to get started and things like that. But like, this is like who he is. Like, he's dominant in the middle of the field. He's a great deep ball passer. You know, yes, I know. When he throws the middle of the field, he is dominant. When they actually decide to throw in the middle of the field, he kills it. But like,
you were right about the deep ball part.
Yeah, he was, of course.
Right about all of it. But like, Jalen is exactly who he is. Like, if he could take a next step in the passing game, I'd be all for it. But this is who he is through the rest of his career. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm ecstatic. Like, he is somebody who would do everything possible to get you to that next level and to get you to that Super Bowl, because we've seen him do it. Like, he doesn't care how it looks like. He's a modern day Troy Aikman.
I'm not going to ask you to elaborate on that, so we'll leave it at that. I'm going to be the contrarian here. I'm kind of a bit surprised, but I will gladly be contrarian. I don't agree with you guys at all. I would not be happy if Jalen is who he is for the rest of his career, because one, that's not Jalen Hurts' mindset. Jalen Hurts' mindset, regardless of how many Super Bowls he wins, is to continue to get better. And I want him to continue to get better. I want him to continue to get better to the point where, like, if he if he were to be bona fide the best quarterback in the whole league over Patrick Mahomes, then I could maybe say, okay, he's done enough. But until that point comes, then yeah, I still want him to get better. And it's not about nitpicking, because actually there are a few parts of his game that absolutely need improving. First, if I'm going to answer the question the way I structured it, the one part of his game I want to see him work on the most is completing passes on scramble plays or second reaction plays, because if you guys remember last year, or it's been a reputation of him, the longer he holds on to the ball, if he's not running, the worse the play ends up being. So, yeah, if he's holding on to the ball and ends up running, that's great. Ends up being great. But if he's holding on to the ball long, but he's still looking to pass, it usually ends up in a bad play. I want to see that fixed. I want to see improved passing when he's scrambling, getting out of the pocket, or just trying to see the field after the play structure failed. Okay, so that's the first and foremost, because I think that if he were to do that, that would open up so much more in terms of efficiency, and EPA production would go up. So I think that's first and foremost. Second, I would love to see him access the middle of the field more. PY, you say when he does it, he's really good. Yeah, sure. But he doesn't, like, when you don't do something often, your success rate at that is kind of a little skewed, because you're just not doing it at a high enough volume to get get numbers that you can trust. Like, I want to see him throw to the middle of the field more consistently, game in and game out. He doesn't have to do it all the time. He doesn't have to be someone that always, that dissects defenses in the middle of the field every single week, but I'd love to see it more consistently, because that's a part of his game where it's still lacking because it's not consistent enough. Brings the other part you mentioned is a good one, where his pocket presence, pocket movement, more consistent. I don't want to see him bail out of the pocket so easily. That's something he has improved on, but again, it still needs work. It still needs to, I want to see him stay patient in the pocket more often than not, slide up when he can, and just maybe that will have a ripple effect on his ability to improve on his passes late, the longer he holds onto the ball and on scramble plays. So, and then the last one, PY, you kind of hit on, I don't think we need to say this. The Eagles are probably the worst screen team in the whole league. Yes. Part of that has to do with Jalen, because his delivery and his timing on those screenplays is just bad. It's just really, really bad. I don't know how many, whenever I see him take the snap and he's winding up, I can call screen a full second before he actually gets rid of the ball. If I can, from my television, can see that, then the defense can absolutely see that as well. So I need to see him work on those things. Greg Miller points out another one: cut down on getting sacked and get the ball out, or throw the ball away and live to play another down. To me, sacks kill you. Yeah, cut down on sacks. That's another good one. So I'm naming, this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now these are 5 different areas of his game that I feel should be or can be improved on. And I do think that he will improve on them. But I'm kind of surprised you guys took the approach that you did, because I don't think Jalen as is good enough. I think Jalen as is really good, but I want to see him get better continually. And there are definitely parts of his game that need work still, because I want him to be looked at as, even though I don't see him as an elite player yet, he's not one of the elite 4. I want him to get to that. I want him to get to that stage where there's no doubt that he's amongst the elite tier of quarterbacks in the league. So in order to get there, he's got to work on those things of his game. So that's my 2 cents. I'll be contrarian with you guys. I disagree with you guys, but I believe in Jalen that he will do those. He will make those improvements. So
I just don't think there's much he can do at this point to get into that top 4.
I just named everything
from a skill, but I don't know. I think that's he could get marginally better at some of those things for sure, but he's never going to be as good as pocket presence as a Mahomes or a Burrow. If he improves his pocket presence, he'll throw over the middle better. I guarantee that.
So I mean, he doesn't need to be as good as them, but he can still get to a level where it's still really good. And if there's one player, if there's one player I'm not gonna doubt at reaching certain levels, it's Jalen. Like, is there any other player that you'd say like you'd put a cap on? No, I would not. Like I'm done doubting him. I'm gonna call him as he is. I'm gonna point out his flaws and be realistic of how he is currently as a player. But would I ever doubt his ability to get better at certain lengths? No, I will not do that with Jalen. But I still want to push for those things. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say it's impossible for him to reach certain levels. Any other thoughts?
I guess I'm just kind of content until something happens where I just lose my mind and go off. I don't know.
With Jalen,
they're not bad. They're not
the
bad
limit.
points by you. They're not bad points by you, Chucks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I eased off Jalen a lot after that Steelers game last year.
Yeah. And I'm not, like, again, this is more about objective criticism than it is about unfairly hating. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think as a fan base, we need to be able to walk that fine line. There's too many people out there that, if you criticize Jalen for anything, they scream bloody murder. But like, it's about just analyzing his game objectively and seeing what there is to work on. And everything I'm saying, I guarantee you 100%, I would put my life on it that Jalen Hurts agrees with everything I'm saying in terms of
he's full psycho mode right now.
But that's what I'm saying. And that's why, PY, you're probably the most biased fan out here, amongst us. I'm surprised you took the approach of no, he's fine. I don't think he should get better.
Like, I didn't say that. I said I thought a few things he could work on. But like, I don't think there's like if he doesn't like magically improve by those things, like it's gonna hurt him. Like if this is who he is consistently, making the right plays, fighting the deep ball, good run game, like things like that, like all the things that he's been doing. I just need him to not turn the ball over. Just don't, like, if he's in 2024 what he is in 2025, if he is what he was in 2024, I'm okay with that. Because while 2022 was better, like
that's such I don't like that mindset, and I guarantee you Jalen does either. Just say if he doesn't improve, I'm okay with that. Like that's a total.
I'm not saying if he's not improving, but if that's how he
operates, just said it. You literally said if the 2025 Jalen is the same exact as 2024 Jalen, I'm fine with it. That is you saying.
Yes, I need him to not turn the ball over. And that's the way.
So you're saying no, but then you're saying, so you are saying if he doesn't improve, you're okay with that.
It depends how it looks.
Like if it looks the exact same as it did last year, I'm completely okay with it.
Yeah, see that again. I don't.
Yeah, we go to another Super Bowl and he plays the exact same as he did last year.
I mean, Chuck, do you think he's gonna regress on anything that he's really good at?
I didn't say regress. I don't think he's gonna regress.
No, I'm asking you my question now.
Do I expect him to stay stagnant and complacent? No, I don't. Nor should he. Like, I don't think anyone should expect.
I didn't say that either.
Stay stagnant and stay the same exact player they are from year to year. I think especially when it comes to Jalen, because he's the core, he's a leader, and we know what his rep is. We should always want him to improve every single year. Every single year.
I get my point. I guess my point about the whole thing is, like, I don't think he's making a big jump at anything at this point in his career. Can he get marginally better at some of the stuff you talked about? Sure, maybe, and that'll help, especially the pocket presence thing, because that'll help him over the middle. But
see, okay,
for you to do this checklist of all these things that he has to do to be on Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes level, like I don't see that.
Well, no, I'm not saying he has to right away do all of them. I'm saying these are the things that I think he can improve on. Let's see him tackle at least one thing. And to your point, Brinks, I think it's more fair, and I can understand it. Like, even if he gets marginally better at like one or two things, I'll still take that. Like, I'll still be fine with that. My point is saying that if he doesn't improve and he stays exactly the same, you're okay with that. I think that's completely contradictory of who Jalen Hurts is. That's my point. Jalen Hurts has never been the type of player to want to stay who he is every single year.
I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him let loose in a press conference once instead of being as interesting as the golf picture that's behind me right now.
It's never happening.
It's probably never going to happen. You're probably right, but yeah,
He's gonna keep the main thing.
The main thing.
Yeah, I mean, the fortune cookie stuff gets a little eye roll.
It's not even just fortune cookie stuff. It's just coach speak. It's the same. Like, have you ever seen an episode of Friday Night Lights? Just pause and pick any like 2-minute monologue from an episode, and I bet you could put together a Jalen Hurtsism from that episode.
Yeah, I would like to see a little personality. I don't think that would hurt.
I think that is his
at all.
That is his personality. He's a coach. He's a boring coach.
You know what?
He's a psychotic coach's kid.
God.
You know what I wonder sometimes, guys? I wonder what he's like personality-wise with his wife, like at home. Like, is he still?
Yes, he's that guy. He's the exact same person.
Like, does he ever let loose, even at like home with his wife? I always wonder
Ned
that.
Flanders. He's Ned Flanders.
That's 100% what he is. He's probably Ned Flanders 100% of the time. Yeah, and she's just like, she's like, I love you so much. You're so stupid.
I can't.
Did you see him on the Tonight Show after they won the Super Bowl with Saquon?
Yeah,
Saquon was pretty cool about it, but
that's not him. Like, he just doesn't. He's a.
And they shouldn't have put him on. Then they shouldn't have put him on.
Of course, he's the MVP of the Super Bowl. Of course, they're putting him on.
I think he had no choice.
Put him on? Why? Who says?
He's the MVP of the Super Bowl.
It was kind of like I don't know if you guys watched it, but when he was at Walt Disney World, the day after, and he had to get interviewed. It's just like it's so painful because you could tell he's just there. He was just there to be there.
You understand how bad it is? He was done by like day 3. Once that parade like pulled out, he's just like, all right, cool. Is this done yet? Can I go practice now?
Yeah, that's sucko.
Unhappy as Super Bowl. He's the most bored Super Bowl champion I've ever experienced. It's just like, I'm good.
That's why we love him. That's why we love him. All right, gentlemen, good show. We got one week of training camp down. We got a few more to go, and we've got some football this week. Not Eagles, but Hall of Fame game coming up. So excited to have football back. We will continue to talk more training camp and preseason in the weeks to come. Thank you to our sponsor, Baggio's Bread. Make sure you mention A2D Radio to get 10% off your in-store purchase. For myself, for Brings, for PY, and the rest of us at A2D Radio. And catch the rest of our shows the rest of the week. Until next week, same time, same place. We will see you later. Go Birds.
Peace.